integration and taking action should happen faster, because I am convinced that in theory you only learn so much.
Absolutely.
There is a limit that you will reach quite fast.
Yes.
And then you have to apply what you learned and find out how it works for you.
Absolutely.
Because we also talked about it.
Yeah.
The theory might be same for everybody, but the execution is very different for everybody, depending on which energetic archetype you are in, like different factors.
Yeah.
And just trying that out and learning it, because you're self-sabotaging if you don't try it.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree. And I have always been like that since being a child. Like also this level of impatience, right? I've always been the one, I mean, you know it, like also being in theater or in circus. Like you see somebody do something, maybe they dance or they do a step or whatever, and then I'm like, yeah, I want to do that too. Like let's go, let's get into the doing, because, and that's also what we are talking about, because the starting of the doing is only the beginning of the whole choreography. I mean, you're still gonna be bad at it. Like the faster you start, the better, because the process only begins when you take action.
Exactly.
And most people don't even take the action to start the process. Starting is only the beginning. The theory is not necessarily the beginning. The beginning, like the theory is even, like if you see this as a plant, right? Like the theory is below the surface.
Exactly.
It's minus 10.
Exactly. It is literally, you don't even need the theory. You could do everything without the theory, but theory without practice doesn't lead you anywhere.
No.
You cannot apply it if you only have the theory. Whereas if you don't have the theory and you simply try out things, you will learn.
Yeah, exactly.
You will learn faster.
Yeah. But I think also to, like, the whole conversation is about creating something, right? Or, like, ultimately, I think that's very important to begin, to start with the end in mind, right? And this is what I also feel for me is important, but also this is what I see, with my years of experiencing, seeing other people in their processes, is you have to have a goal. I think that's the most, like, or you have to have a goal, whatever it is. If you want to dance, you want to kind of feel the finished dance style, even if it's just, if it's not a choreography, like I want to be able to dance like this, that's the goal. Or I want to be able to do whatever, be somebody. Like even us being here now, the way we look, it's a whole creation, right? And that's a picture. And this is, I believe, this is how most people function. You see something maybe in childhood, in real life, or on TV, or in a music video, and you're like, oh, that feels good, right? And then I want to recreate something like that, like the whole thing. And then you start, right? And then it's like so many different things that you can or want to dive into, because it's a collection of things, and it's so much. And if you don't have a big vision, you don't start things. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. Like if you don't have a vision for what you want to be or be able to do, even me, like seeing you, like you do so many things, oh my God, right? And but you have like a feeling and a vision of who you want to be, and but your abundance is already in your skills, like being able to do all these things, because you have the vision to create music. You have to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Yeah, so this is, I think it's important that you have to have a clear vision.
I like that. However, I also think that sometimes people get overwhelmed sometimes it comes with limitations having a certain vision, because then you're like, oh,
How?
I can't
The
do
how.
exactly the how, and
How
then
do
they're
I
like
get there?
blocked. Like, how do I start? But if I start here, I will never get there, and you never know that. You simply have to start.
Yeah.
Start anything. Start something, and see where it leads you. Because sometimes, like as I said, I studied computer science, and I learned music production. It was not directly connected, but who would have thought that I'd learn about music production when studying computer science? That was not what I was intending to learn there. However, I did. That was simply because the path unfolded, and because I was very aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was like, wait, he's producing music. What do you need? Can you explain this to me? Because that was a whole new world coming up. Had I not started the studies, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened? But I think that in flow state, we get so much more knowledge about the vision that we're creating, about what we want, about who we want to become. Because I have many examples where I've heard women say, also you know a few of the women that I'm talking about, and they have a big vision, and still they are stuck with the vision. They're like, I want to be this DJ, I want to be a producer, you have everything. You have a controller at home, you have the software at home, you have headphones, you have a computer. Be grateful because you have everything.
Yes.
Why have you not started yet?
And this is where it really comes down to the practical things, and I think like that's what, like how I feel, and that's also what I think that I'm good at, right? Because the thing again is, I think that the people who like have the things or think that they need all the prerequisites, right? It's about capacity and it's about organization, right? It's really the fundamental in the inside and the outside, because ultimately, again, let's be real, to bring that to a more practical level, yes, you can theoretically do everything, right? But people come from different backgrounds. Also, finance plays a role, right? And overall security in your body to be able, and that's why I personally think the vision is good, right? And very important, because it's also a little bit about intentionality, and this is a privilege thing, I think, right? And with privilege, I don't only mean money, but the feeling and the like, and that's why I mean like the vision to know that most people have responsibilities in their life, right? You have to pay your rent, and maybe depending on the people around you, you have certain kind of responsibilities. So there's only so much time left to fill with creativity, but starting something new, right? And sometimes it takes capacity, right? Like, and I don't know if it's, I don't know, like capacity is the best word, capacity, and to be like, it's in alignment with my vision, and I am going to take this chunk of time and allow myself to just start, right? Because and when I say capacity, it also has to do with having an emotional tolerance for just dabbling, like just playing without having a success experience or without having a direct result, right? It's just playing in the beginning. And I think because most people have like obligations or maybe financial constraints, they have to first organize even their mind, right? And that's why, again, that I think for me, having a vision and organizing your mind goes hand in hand. You have to organize your mind and be like, okay, this is what's going on in my life right now. I got that covered. I got that covered just for the day, even for the day, not for a whole month or years, but to have those little pockets of clarity, right? Okay, my bills are paid, this person is taken care of, or whoever, and the work is done. And now I have designed and created this little pocket of time, maybe an hour a day or whatever, to create without any outcome, with the emotional bandwidth for frustration and just trying things, and then to be okay with that. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I believe that that's for, especially when you get older, and if that's not part of your everyday life, that's what people need to clear, like the clear the space, the time, because you probably, I mean, you're already in flow and you have been for a long time, but it has, I feel still, if you start something new, there's a lot of emotions coming right up, and this, especially like this level of frustration or whatever comes up with this particular creation. And I believe that the emotional part and this frustration tolerance and things like that, that is keeping a lot of people stuck, even
That's
if they have
interesting.
everything.
That is also very multi-layered. I love it. Because I think I wrote a whole book about the frequency of creation, where I talk about life as being a piece of art. So I encourage people to not wait for their creative time, because I'm convinced, like, you do not need to have 2 full hours to get creative and to sit down and be creative. Everything you do is a creative process. Like the way you pour your coffee into your cup in the morning, that is a piece of art. You have to understand that. You have to perceive it as such.
Yes.
And you have to be ready, like you have to be open to see things.
Yeah.
And that is what constantly inspires you, and also what creates this identity as creator and as a creative. Because I do see people that I work with that start with these like creative time slots. There's nothing wrong with that. Like we all need those, especially if our business is centered around our creativity. We need those time frames where we only create, definitely. But if you are starting, I find that to be a limitation as well, because you limit yourself, and then you get into the space, and then you put like a lot of pressure onto yourself, because this is the 2 hours that you have in the week to be creative, and if it's not working out right now, then it's a whole catastrophe and your whole world is crumbling down because you did not use that time. And that's usually not how it works. It's not how it works. Like, you will be at your 9 to 5 and have an idea, write it down.
Yeah, sure.
That's the creative process. Like, write it down. You're a creative, write it down.
Yeah.
In the evening, create a mood board about your idea.
Yeah.
It takes you 10 minutes. Do that on your commute to work, because that is just the way that you flow as a creative. And the structure, I'd encourage people to create the structure once they have already started like creating their life or seeing themselves as a creative person in general. Because I find this like create creative time and create like, what do you call it, like the other non-creative time, I find it to be very restraining, and the threshold to be very high for people to enter flow state once they're in this creative times, because they're like, okay, I need to learn this, I need to do this, I need to, and they get overwhelmed because they don't make it a practice to simply be creative.
Yeah, I think we're actually saying the same, because I think, or like what I'm hearing you say, like the things that happen before, for me, that is the vision, right? As you said, like then create a mood board or write down the idea. These are parts of vision creation, right? Because we spoke about, like your example was somebody who has all the requisites to be a DJ. I think that is all, the vision is already there. Like the things, this part of the creation process has already happened. And that's why I focused on the time. right? Because that is that is theory, even though it is the creation, but that's still, it didn't come to life yet fully. Like it's still the conceptualization, the vision, which is also creative, but then stepping into this. That's why I said, like, that's the vision part. And then if you actually want to start practicing, I think that's why you need to have this designed time, because the day is full of other
definitely.
obligations, right? Yeah.
Definitely, at some point you need this time. Absolutely. I just witness people blocking themselves because also, like, they created the vision, okay, I want to be a DJ, I want to be this, and then they get out the controller and they're overwhelmed because now they have to start listening to music to sort the songs, when in fact they want to start practicing the mixing. And then it's like, okay, just listen to the songs on your way to work.
Yes.
And arrange a playlist, and then you have the songs, and then you can start mixing, or take a random song and practice mixing. Just do something.
Yes.
And that is where I see people, like, this is literally not something that I experience because I function very differently than that, but I see so many women, especially because women are very perfectionist, and we've been criticized a lot our whole lives, and we shy away from doing things imperfectly. We just do, because, like, the fear of criticism, fear of being seen. And that is also, like, you're so right when you say, like, you need time to play without taking into consideration of what the outcome is,
yes,
whether
absolutely.
it's good or bad.
And that's what I mean. I think that's why I'm saying, I think we're speaking about exactly the same. And what I, like, my vocabulary with that was that in the container, as you said, people get stuck because why? Like, you already created, I literally see this as an energetic opening with, like, you see my hands, these are like the pillars to hold open kind of like the womb of creation, right? And you have to have the time to open the portal, right? Like to open the portal of 1 hour or 2 hours, and then it's like the volcano, right? Like if you haven't tapped into that skill or that energy that wants to be expressed through your desire to be a DJ, or it's the same thing with writers, right? You want to write something, you have the vision, and now you actually came to the point, which is already in creation, is already like it is a huge step to have created the structure in your mind of your day, and then design a 2-hour time portal that is an energetic opening to an energy, if we want to really get spiritual here, right? To invite the muse, right? And then from down here comes like energy. And one thing that my mentor always says, and I really like the analogy, is like, if you open a channel of creation, it's always like opening a pipe that you haven't used in a long time.
Definitely.
So the first thing,
run.
yes, and the first thing that comes is very yucky, like muddy water, right? Like very yucky, very muddy, and that is like maybe icky feelings, you know, that is the like the restraining, the blocking, the voices. Then all over a sudden, like your teacher's voice from second grade comes up, or your mother's voice, or whatever voices you have heard, and all of that yuck needs to come up, and that's it. Like and that's what you call overwhelm. It's an energetic, right, emotional overwhelm. And and people have to know that this is going to happen in the playtime, in the beginning. It's not fun. It's not so much fun, because alongside maybe the fun, as you said, like with the controller, that is maybe the fun part, but alongside that fun part comes like maybe the criticism voice or whatever. And all of that that's part of it. Get through it and come back to that design slot next week.
You know what? Some people, because you just said something that I find to be very important, and it is the fun part. You said the fun part is the mixing. And that is the fun part for a creative, for a creator, for an artist, yes. However, and maybe that is a very unpopular opinion or controversy or whatever, some people don't enjoy the process.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be seen as something only because it comes with a certain prestige, with a certain whatever it might be, like admiration.
But then it's not about the love for the creation.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. But this is also what I see people doing. Like they're like, I want to be this, I want to be that. And then they create this time frame and then they sit there and they're like, oh, I'm so blocked. No, you're not blocked. You don't enjoy the process because it's not meant for you. You just want to be something that either somebody else saw in you once and you just created this identity inside your head without it be like a match.
Okay,
'Cause
interesting.
I like really see so many people who want to be something that they are not because they don't embody it yet, but simply because it's not for them. You know, they have the desire to be seen
Interesting. Yeah.
as something when in fact they don't enjoy the process.
Yeah.
You don't like mixing. Why do you do it?
Yeah.
Because I want to be on stage. Okay, go speak on stage. Like find what it is that you like doing, and
you just
then
want to
do
be
it.
seen.
Exactly, and admired and
Yeah.
whatever. Like I was working with an artist. He was an R&B artist for 10 years, and I had my second session with him, and then he said, "You know what? I don't even like R&B." Okay, why have you been doing it? Well, people always told me that would be a good match.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been doing that. Like, it took us 2 sessions to figure that out.
Yeah.
Why did you not, like, did you not realize that you don't like doing what
Yeah.
you were doing for
Yeah.
10 years?
And this is what I say, like, that's the magic of having a supporter, a mentor, creative, whatever you want to
definitely.
call it, a coach or whatever, is to, again, open up the space and then to, what's the word, to have a sounding board, as people say, like to have a back and forth, and people asking you deeper questions, again, like, why are you doing what you're doing? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like mirroring shadow work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Yeah, mirroring and shadow work. And as you said, because I believe that even before the art itself, as you said, I think it's very interesting that some people just want to be like, it was a little bit surprising to me, or like interesting to hear that you think you want to be a DJ, but ultimately you just want to be seen as something. What the fuck? I don't understand. Like, it's not that far out, but it's not the way I think. But many people, yes, you just want to be seen, right? Just as I said yesterday, like for me, the connection between, I have so much to give in my heart, and maybe it's just my love or my advice, right? Like the way you could eat, like that's what I want to give. But it's so vulnerable.
It is,
It's so like the child in me, right? And but coming back to that, because that's also like behind or underneath the shadow work is always like the most innocent, purest version of ourselves, right? The golden shadow. And then to take all of that away to get to the most like primal, playful, fundamental desire of your desire, right? The desire is simply to be and to give, I think, for most people, right? And then the question is, how do you express like the deepest, most innocent kind of part of your being? And for some people, I believe also what you said, I think when some people get to the root of all of it, it's even no longer about being on stage, right? It's simply about being seen, even by like just sitting here or unpacking the rawest version of that, because every human wants to be seen, heard, and kind of mirrored back and validated in the purity of wanting to give. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, and like behind the shadow work and behind all of the what you think you have to be in order to receive, because what do you want to receive? To be seen, to be heard, to be validated, and ultimately to be loved. I see you. and now you can do whatever you want with what you like.
Yeah, exactly. But that is something very important that you're saying. What you like. What is it that you like doing?
Yeah.
What do you do even if nobody's watching?
Yeah.
Even if you're tired, even if you're exhausted, even if you, where's your mind going? Because I see people like, they say, I want to be a writer. They've never written something. Why?
Yes.
Because you don't like it.
Yeah.
Like you want to be perceived as one. What is
That's
the thing?
so interesting.
Like really, I see so many people, and also like then they're, oh, whenever I want to start writing, there's so much pressure, so I don't do it. And that is something that I cannot relate to.
Yeah.
Like literally, I cannot relate to. And I found that, or just something that I perceived. It's not, I don't have data on this outside of
anecdotal
myself.
evidence.
Exactly, thank you. Exactly this. People who know what they love, they just do it.
Yes.
They do it when they're stressed, when they're tired, when they're angry, when they're exhausted, and they make time for it, even if they don't have time.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people sitting in the subway, being on their laptops, writing on their commute to their 9 to 5, which was something completely different.
Yeah.
Because they have the desire.
Yes, to express themselves. Without even being seen by anybody.
Exactly. It is simply because they enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It is their way of being, simply existing.
Yeah.
And that is the crucial thing. Find your way, your most favorite way of existing. And then let it flow.
Yes.
This can also lead to multiple things, as we're also multi-passionates.
Yeah.
Still, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You cannot think about doing something and then expect you to become this person.
Yeah, no.
It's not working that way. And then when you ask like people about, okay, how about time, like create a time frame? Yeah, when I come home, I'm very exhausted, and then I just lay down and I watch YouTube for 3 hours. Okay, why? Because you're not, like, you have these 3 hours and you're watching, like, you're not even relaxing.
Yeah.
Like, if you, like, sit down and stretch
And
and
again,
meditate, and then, like, I
yes.
would totally understand
Again, but the
that.
thing is, and that's what I'm saying, and this goes back to, because people are, the root of not doing what it is that you say you want to do is always, and that's why creativity and healing, or all these modalities of navigating your emotional world, are so intertwined, because this opening, right, or just after work, then it's people being able to handle their heavy emotions.
Yeah,
That's
definitely, yeah.
like being able to, and as you said, maybe like create a process around that. Move your body, scream, go for a run, dance, or whatever. Right. Like this is the creation before the creation.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the heavy emotions come up, or learn how to channel them. But this is also what I think, or no, what I know